Bayer Leverkusen secured the Bundesliga title in a season where they went unbeaten for the whole campaign. Jack Winstanley has been speaking to Sport BILD journalist Phillip Arens, who's covered Leverkusen for the best part of 2 decades, and they began by discussing how important football is for that part of the country.
What kind of place does football hold in the hearts of just your local Leverkusen fan or local Leverkusen resident?
Yeah, Leverkusen is a city with 160,000 inhabitants, very connected to the Bayer company, the pharma company. You know, they called the Werkself, the factory team, and of course, the Bayer, the company, is also the club here. So there is a really close relationship between the factory and the football team, and this year this culminated, and the whole city went crazy. And weeks before the game against Werder Bremen, when they became champion, the city was dressed in black and red, and even the street behind the stadium, which is the big Bismarckstraße, was renamed in Xabi Alonso Allee. And this is quite interesting. And so you can see there was a great hunger of being German champion for the first time, because, as I mentioned, they were so close so many times, and this year they've done it.
That day when Leverkusen secured the title against Werder Bremen, can you just take us to the city? Take us inside. What were the celebrations like? What was it like to be there and as Leverkusen won that famous title?
Yeah, it was the 14th of April, a really warm Sunday afternoon. And as I mentioned, the Bismarckstraße, the Xabi Alonso Alley, this is the street, the road where the bus is coming to the stadium every game. And here in Leverkusen, the fans in the last years made some bus receptions with fireworks and pyrotechnic. And even when the team was struggling a relegation battle 2 years ago, when Xabi Alonso came, which is quite astonishing as well. When he took over, Leverkusen was in 17th position, which is unbelievable to say. But this bus reception on this day, it was unbelievable. About 10,000 people on the streets, or even more, and fireworks were flying, and the bus was not even able to pass. And it was something like a carnival in summer. Here in the Rhineland, we have the big carnival in February or March, but this was football carnival, and you could feel there was something special on this day. It should have happened on this day. You know, on the day before, if Bayern Munich would have lost against Cologne, if Stuttgart would lost against Frankfurt, they would have become German champions on the sofa. And nobody wanted this. Everybody wanted to have it in their own stadium, on their own victory. And it was this day, and 14th of April was the beginning of a new era in German football.
I think if we could zoom out a little bit, have you noticed a more international appeal of Leverkusen in the last year? And you know, journalists getting interested in what the club are doing, and potentially people like me asking you to have a chat about it. And if you have noticed that, what's that been like for you and for the club?
Yeah, personally, I can say that a lot of journalists from all over the world ask me what has happened in Leverkusen, which has never been before like this. And of course, the club made 2 trophy tours. They went to the US, they went to Brazil, taking the trophies with them. And because they have a good, a great Brazilian community, because of the tradition with 24 players from Brazil coming to Leverkusen. And even in the United States, in New York, German football is admired. And I think maybe Leverkusen is more admired abroad than in Germany, because Leverkusen is still in Germany by a lot of fans called a plastic club, a factory club, and this is something in abroad. It's a normal club, because Leverkusen had a great story about with great players like Ballack, Lucio, Rudi Völler all over the years. As I said, maybe in outside Germany, this achievement is more admired than in Germany itself.
Pippo, thank you so much for joining us on this Sporting Planet.
It was a pleasure for me. Thank you very much.
And for more from that interview with Phillip Arens, you can check it out on our This Sporting Planet YouTube and on our website. The headline of the article is Neverkusen No More. And that is what is so remarkable about this story, because mocked by your rivals, 5 times a runner-up, you've been called Neverkusen, to not only then go and finally win that Bundesliga title for the first time, but you do it as an invincible. Ed, you know what it's like to support an invincible side. It's quite incredible.
It is. And I just loved that team spirit as well. And very much like that Arsenal team, they never knew when they were down and out. So many occasions where it looked like the run might come to an end, where they might pick up their first loss of the season. And they just believed in themselves. And out of nowhere, they were able to come back. And I think that team spirit was really instilled by Xabi Alonso and really highlighted by the fact that he decided to stay when there was so much demand for him from Liverpool. And he came out, didn't he, and said, I decided to stay at Leverkusen because the players have given me so many reasons as a team, their commitment, their desire, their hunger to have a great season. And my job's not over here. And there's that real collective spirit, which I absolutely loved watching Leverkusen that season.
And Todd, what's so fascinating as well is not only that they go the season unbeaten, but they had a manager there who was relatively new to management life. He was at Real Sociedad a couple of seasons before, Real Sociedad B team. I think he was only there for 1 or 2 seasons. Then comes to Bayer Leverkusen, who was struggling towards the bottom end of the Bundesliga, gets them up into 6th into Europe in his first season in charge. And then the second season, he goes and wins the title. And no wonder he's then since been linked with other clubs.
Oh, no question. I think it's one of those cases where winning solves all problems. But I agree with you. I think the meteoric rise in such a short amount of time, which we see across the landscape of European football, especially, it takes a long time to build a team. I mean, you talk to any of the top managers and they're going to say, we're not going to fix this overnight. This isn't welcome to Wrexham. It's going to take some time to get this thing going, and it's going to take some time to get our team where we want it to be. And that's obviously picking up players in the trade season, finding ways to shore up your squad that's coming up as well, youth program. So anyways, long story short, it's a great accomplishment across the board, and it's a great story.
It is. And I was very fortunate actually to speak to the managing director of sport for Bayer Leverkusen, Simon Rolfs, a few months ago. And I asked him about why Xabi Alonso. And he said a lot of it was down to, one, who he is as a person, but also what he's achieved in his playing careers. And as Phillip Arens was telling us, there are 18 titles across a number of clubs, across different leagues. Just goes to show the respect he might have already commanded when he walked through in that dressing room. And interestingly, you talk about the reach. Well, they went on a trophy tour to Brazil, which just goes to show how popular they may well have been, or how certainly people wanted to see Bayer Leverkusen.
Do you guys think that his age had something to do with it? I mean, he's only 42, but I think the guys that are playing underneath him still remember when he was playing at a high level.
Well, absolutely, because he's fresh in their memory. Absolutely, Ed.
And you look at Mikel Arteta at Arsenal as well. I think that the younger players perhaps are more able to respect players that they've seen play rather than the older, the likes of well, Pep Guardiola, I guess, is still very much of that generation. But even say Antonio Conte now, that the current players probably might not remember his playing days and might not buy into his philosophy because of that. It's interesting you say that trophy tour to Brazil, Natalie, because you look at Bayer Leverkusen's squad, it is so international. You've got Nathan Teller, Nigeria, Granit Xhaka, of course, Swiss, Jeremy Frimpong, Dutch, Aleix Garcia, Spanish, Palacios is from Argentina. And it really is such an international squad, and no wonder they've got fans all around the world.